this payout plaque is a proof that fair value gaps actually work. But honestly, most fair value gaps that I tested failed, but the difference was not the gap itself. It was whether the gap had context, location, and confirmation. So in this video, I'm going to be backtesting gold fair value gap setups and show you guys exactly which one I would take and which ones I would skip, and the exact checklist that I used before entering. Alright, so jumping into the charts right now, let's take a look on how we can actually trade this. And remember, what makes a fair value gap good is pretty much the entire context, location, and confirmation. If you're just blindly taking every single gap right here, thinking it is a good gap and whatever, well, you are gonna get lost. You're not gonna understand what's currently happening. You're just gonna keep losing. Well, I'm here to help you guys fix that. So what I like to be doing is I'm going to be giving you guys just 3 simple checklists, okay? But first, let's try to take a look on what's happening with gold. Gold is clearly in a downtrend. Yes, I understand that we're creating lows, more lows. But if you plot your trend line, what do you guys see? Plotting your trend line gives you a pretty much a clean understanding that we have been respecting this trend line, and then suddenly we broke it. And the cleanest thing about this is the moment when we broke with good structure. You can clearly see this. This is a very perfect example of a shift of trend. Now, when I see something like this, I want to make sure that there's a lot of things that are lining up before I start looking for my location. One, am I in my trading session? I only prefer to be trading London or maybe sometimes in New York. Now, looking for this one, I want you guys to primarily focus that this green box is technically gonna be London session. So looking to this, what do you like to be doing? If you guys are gonna be a buyer, you wanna be finding bullish fair value gap. So between this low and this high, this is going to be a perfect example of a fair value gap. And I know you're going to be telling me like, why would you skip this? Isn't this a gap? Yes, this is still going to be a gap, but it's kind of redundant if you mark this one right here and all the way like this, when you can just pretty much mark the whole thing. It's pretty much redundant, right? So you just want to be marking the whole thing like this. And if you guys want a full in-depth video about fair value gaps, well, comment down below, and where I'm going to be making a video about that next. So from this on, perfect. We're perfectly in London session, the perfect session that I want to start trading. Now, the next step is we already have our context. The idea of gold is wanting to push higher, okay? Context, gold, bullish, okay? Now we know that gold is wanting to flip bullish, then we already have that. Next allocation is a 1 hour fair value gap. Now, the moment that we have this location of a 1 hour fair value gap, it's pretty good, okay? So now the next step is we want to be looking for confirmations, okay? Confirmations right here. Now, what are the confirmations? Let's take a look. So we want to be having an entry only when the market taps to our higher time frame fair value gap. If it doesn't tap to a higher time frame fair value gap, then we don't want to be doing anything. So with the market pull back right here, I want to take a look on what's currently happening right here. So right, market's just consolidating. Okay, we push all below. And what's beautiful about this, we have this liquidity that got taken out, right? We got this liquidity got taken out. We also have this liquidity got taken out with a wick, right? The moment that you got yourself a liquidity like this, like a sweep and a wick, and you got your beautiful reversal pattern like this, you can start marking this as what you can pretty much call as an IFVG pattern. You can mark this as an IVG. When you have something like this pretty much concludes that this is going to be the time where you can start looking for longs, okay? This is going to be your time looking for longs. So looking to this is the confirmations we have. One, we have the liquidity sweep. Next, we have the IVG, okay? We have 2 beautiful confirmations. Now, with that confirmations in a way, this can allow me to have a basic checklist for me to use that I can look at before every single trade. So with that out of the way, we can have our beautiful long position right here, stops under this liquidity sweep, and we're start to take profit. We can pretty much have a take profit all the way at least 1 to 2 minimum. This is ideally the main TP. So let's try to see what's currently happening. Oh, we pulled all the way further down, and okay, market pumped exactly to our take profit. That's pretty much like a beautiful 2-hour trade just like that. Now, quick note, I actually turned this entire backtesting framework into a gold fair value gap validation checklist. If you want it, I actually place it in my free Discord. Link's gonna be in the description down below. All you gotta be doing is selecting the free channel and download it from there. It is absolutely for free, and you get a much more in-depth checklist rather than this. It's pretty much basic, but there's gonna be an in-depth checklist where you can pretty much have it in front of your screen to look at before every trading session. So make sure you guys check it in the free Discord down below. So now this is going to be a beautiful 2RR win. Now, once we're done with this 2RR win, we're done. We're done for London session. We're going to be waiting for the next London. So market's running. Remember guys, we don't want to be trading until it's London. Okay, there we go. Perfect. This is now London session. And what we want to be doing is marking our gaps. What do we see? Do we see a gap right here? We do have this gap, right? This is going to be a perfect example of a bearish gap, right? Well, let's make it red because it is actually a bearish gap. We don't want to be having it as blue. So this is going to be a bearish gap, an area where I want to be looking for sells. Now, let's try to understand our context over here. The market is flipping bullish. And if the market is flipping bullish, this one right here might just be a sweep before pushing further down. So I want to be having this logic in my head is that if there's a conflict of market direction where recently just broke this trend line, market flipped bullish, and now the market broke this trend line, we're flipping bearish. Okay, never mind. We don't have any conflict over here. Now we are flipping bearish here. When we're flipping bearish here, this allows us to have this context that we want to be leaning more into sells because obviously the trend line shift now is going to the downside, right? So now once we have that in play, we want to be marking this bearish gap, and I want to be waiting for market to pull back to this bearish gap. Now with this, again, the same thing. Context, gold is bearish, and the location of the setup is an H1 bearish fair value gap, and we have no confirmations yet, so we're gonna get rid of this like this, and let's just play this out. We actually have liquidity right here, which is pretty good if we can get some sweep right there. So when the market pulled up all the way up to our bearish gap, we won't be finding ourselves some IVG. Oh, bro, look at that. Look at that. So the moment I saw this beautiful IVG, everything's lining up. The confirmation of our basic checklist is we have an IVG pattern. Okay, we got ourselves a liquidity sweep. Magnifico. Mwah, beautiful. So when I get this, we can pretty much have a short position just like this, stop loss above, and ideally we want to be having a 1:2. We can trim a lot on 1:2, and we can have a final TP right here. But if you guys don't know, I always target 1:2 RR. Majority of the time, always 1:2. So let's pretty much have it as always show stats, something like this. So now everything is lining up. Okay, our context is bearish, our location is an H1 bearish fair value gap, our confirmation is an IVG and liquidity sweep. We have a sweep right here, very, very beautiful. And when the market is having this IVG pattern, we're gonna take our entry and let's take a look. Oh, I'm gonna hit stop loss. Nope. Absolutely cinema, bro. Now oh my god, look at this. Right onto our exit, the market had its pump, and that's pretty clean. Honestly, that's very, very clean. And I'm basically just using this very basic checklist. How much more if you guys had the in-depth checklist? So remember guys, before you guys take your next fair value gap trade, I want you guys to be using the checklist. The gap alone is not the setup. If you want the full checklist, it's actually inside the free Discord, and I'll see you guys down there. JCAC Trades out.